1 in 4 women will experience domestic abuse in their lifetime. We know that rates of gender-based violence tend to be highest amongst teenage girls and young adult women, and that boys and men tend to be the primary perpetrators. Achieving meaningful reductions in rates of domestic abuse requires educating men about the nature of coercive control, why some men resort to it, and why it is a poor means of securing trust in intimate relationships. I'm David Gadd, and my research with Claire Fox, Ian Butler and Mary Louise Corr has helped improve the practice of charities and support services working in the domestic abuse sector. It has also helped to improve government policy on domestic abuse. Our ESRC funded From Boys to Men project helped to understand why some young men are domestically abusive and what can be done to prevent this. We found that there is a real need to invest in accessible services for these boys and men so they can get the help and guidance they need before their behaviour becomes even more dangerous. Service providers need to anticipate that some of the most abusive young men will have very limited experiences of relationships in which love and trust have been experienced positively. As well as problems with their own violence, abusive young men are likely to have other problems, including substance dependencies, mental health problems, having been abused or having been let down by other professionals. In the field of gender-based violence, it's imperative that any work with men and boys who are abusive also enhances the safety of victims, survivors and their children.
I've long admired the work of Professor David Gadd and the work he's been doing with young men and boys, which focuses on behavioral change. Over the years, Professor Gadd has opened up conversations about what is truly needed for young men who are beginning to use violence in their relationships to increase their understanding of their behavior and find pathways to change.
We've influenced many of the main social media campaigns directed at changing the behaviour of boys and men. The first of these was the Home Office's This Is Abuse campaign, which was run in partnership with MTV and Channel 4 and generated nearly 5 million hits on its YouTube channel. Our work has been cited in parliamentary debates to help make the case for preventative domestic abuse education and for a perpetrator strategy in the UK. It features in training resources for organisations like Respect and Safe Lives, where it's used to train new generations of practitioners working with young men with domestic violence problems.
David was ahead of the game, and I consider his work to be really groundbreaking. Interventions in the space of domestic abuse have traditionally been what to do about when a bad thing has already happened and how to work with the victim, rather than having a preventive focus on those who are actually using abusive behaviour in the first place. We can only talk about perpetrators if we bring them into the conversation. And due to David's work, I've seen a significant adoption of the understanding that you cannot end domestic abuse unless you talk openly with people who are using that abusive behaviour. My organisation's benefited from that increasingly holistic view as we understand how we can build those cohorts and gather qualitative insights and data. It's important that our work is evidence-led, and David's been really open and supportive in getting our organisation to the stage we've now reached. And David's insights and approach have really supported the raising of our ambitions as an organisation.
In 2021, I led the drafting of Greater Manchester Combined Authority's 10-year gender-based violence strategy. In Greater Manchester, we are now engaging with boys and men and providing a portfolio of interventions that are responsive to the needs of a wide range of perpetrators. Our research has established what more can be done to reduce the number of young men who become domestic abuse perpetrators, influencing the work of charities and domestic abuse policy at regional and national levels.